You're not losing with women because you lack value. You're losing because you keep giving it away for free. Every time you over-explained, over-texted, or over-committed, you trained her to see you as common. Women don't lose interest randomly. They lose it when your energy becomes predictable. The moment she can read you, she stops feeling you. But what if I told you there's a way to reverse that? Instantly. In this video, I'll give you 5 psychological secrets that flip the dynamic in your favor. These aren't tricks or tactics, they're mental rewires that shift how women see you the moment you walk into a room. And once you apply them, you won't need to chase attention ever again. You'll command it, without saying a word. I've spent years studying how women respond, not to what men say, but to what men radiate. Most of what you've been told about attraction is either outdated or completely wrong. It's not about words, it's about energy. It's about how grounded, centered, and aware you are. Because women don't fall for what they hear, they fall for what they feel. And once you understand the psychology behind that, you stop performing and you start leading. Quietly, naturally, without chasing. That's what this channel exists for. To help you rebuild that inner authority you lost trying to please everyone else. If that's what you've been missing, hit like, subscribe, and stay close. This isn't casual advice. It's recalibration. Tell me in the comments, what's the biggest misconception about women you've believed until now? Because what comes next will challenge it completely. And it starts with the smallest detail most men overlook, without ever realizing how much it matters. Number 1, the power of micro-attention. Most men believe that attraction is built through grand gestures, expensive dates, charming lines, or showing constant attention. But what actually draws a woman in has nothing to do with size. It's the micro. The smallest, almost invisible moments that speak louder than any compliment you could ever give. Here's what I mean. Most men live in extremes. Either they're detached, distracted, and barely notice anything about her, or they're so focused on her that every move screams, "I need you to like me." Both push her away for the same reason. Neither makes her feel seen. Micro-attention is the art of noticing what others miss and doing it effortlessly. It's not about rehearsed compliments or staring too long. It's about recognizing a detail that carries meaning, saying it once, and moving on. For example, when you tell a woman, "You're beautiful, you sound like everyone else." It's generic, expected, forgettable. But when you say, "You have a calm energy," it makes people feel at ease around you. Something inside her shifts. You've noticed something that isn't obvious. You didn't just look, you saw. And that right there triggers emotional recognition. Because deep down, every woman wants to be recognized beyond the surface. She wants to be noticed, not for how she looks, but for the energy she carries. The tiny parts of her personality that most men never bother to pay attention to. Here's the paradox. The moment you show genuine perception, then detach, you become instantly magnetic. The subtle withdrawal tells her your attention isn't cheap. It's earned. And that scarcity creates value. Micro-attention isn't manipulation, it's awareness. It tells her, you see through the noise. You don't need to chase, you simply observe. And in a world full of men who talk too much and notice too little, that alone sets you apart. Think about it. The men she remembers aren't necessarily the most handsome or wealthy. They're the ones who made her feel understood in less than a sentence. This kind of awareness shows emotional intelligence, the rarest masculine quality. It communicates confidence without trying, because when a man truly observes, he doesn't need to perform. Next time you're around a woman, pay attention, not to impress, but to understand. Notice the tone of her laughter, the way she holds her glass, the way she chooses her words. Then mention one thing, sincerely, and move on. Watch how her energy shifts. she'll start to wonder. What else does he see that others don't? That's the moment you stand out without competing. You didn't do more. You simply noticed better. And that's the quiet secret. In a world where everyone shouts for attention, the man who sees in silence owns the room. Number 2, controlled edge, the art of safe danger. Every woman wants to feel safe with a man, but not too safe, because safety without excitement turns into boredom. The truth most men never grasp is this: women crave the paradox. They want a man who grounds them, yet makes their pulse rise. Someone who feels stable, but unpredictable enough to keep their mind awake. Most men live on one side of the extreme. The nice guy who always agrees, always apologizes, always accommodates. He makes her comfortable, but he also makes her forget him. Then there's the bad boy, the chaotic one who breaks rules, creates tension, and leaves her anxious. He gets attention fast, but loses trust even faster. Neither extreme works, because women aren't searching for a savior or a storm. They're drawn to the rare balance between both. That's what I call controlled edge. Controlled edge means being emotionally stable but behaviorally unpredictable. You don't act out of insecurity or ego. You simply refuse to live in the script she expects. You're kind, but not compliant, respectful, but not obedient. Picture this. She teases you, waiting for you to defend yourself or to back down. Instead, you pause, smile, and say, "That's one way to see it." You don't react. You redirect. You stay calm while shifting the energy. Suddenly, you're not just another man seeking approval. You've become the frame she reacts to. That's the quiet dominance women feel but can't explain. It's the invisible balance between warmth and tension, what psychologists call emotional contrast. It's the reason she keeps thinking about you long after you've left the room. See, predictability feels safe but sterile. It removes the spark. The unknown, when managed well, creates emotional aliveness. And when a woman feels that aliveness with you, a mix of trust and curiosity, she associates that feeling with you. That's attraction on a subconscious level. Controlled edge doesn't mean playing games or withholding affection. It means leading the dynamic with poise. You don't chase validation. You create polarity. Every action says, "I respect you, but I won't bend for approval." Here's the irony. When you stop trying to impress her, you start to intrigue her. Because mystery and stability rarely coexist. Yet when they do, they form gravity. Most men kill attraction by being predictable. They text at the same time every day, say the same compliments, follow the same routines. She stops feeling. Not because she doesn't like you, but because she already knows you. So change your rhythm, switch it up. Don't always be the one who initiates. Don't always reveal what you'll do next. Keep your core steady, but let your actions breathe unpredictability. Because the truth is simple, predictability makes you comfortable. Controlled unpredictability makes you unforgettable. A man with controlled edge doesn't prove himself through effort. He proves it through composure. He owns his space, his tone, his timing. And that composure forces her to adjust her energy to match yours. She doesn't chase chaos. She chases the rare man who can make her feel safe and alive at the same time. That's the art of safe danger, the sweet spot between control and fire. When you master that balance, you don't have to compete for her attention. You become the experience she can't stop thinking about. Number 3, unpredictable honesty, the weapon of real confidence. Most men think confidence means acting unshakable, smiling through discomfort, pretending they're never nervous, never unsure. But that's not confidence, that's theater, and women can smell it instantly. Real confidence is quiet. It's the ability to be honest when you don't have to be, to say what's true even when it might cost you control. That's why unpredictable honesty is so powerful, because it's raw, it's human, and it's rare. Unpredictable honesty means showing your truth in the very moments when she expects you to fake it. When she expects the mask, you take it off. You don't over-explain. You don't dramatize. You simply tell the truth and let it land. Imagine this. You're on a first date. The conversation flows, but your heart's racing. Most men would hide it, acting cool, pretending they've done this 1,000 times. But you look her in the eye and say, "You know what's funny? I don't get nervous often, but I am right now." Then you smile, calm, unapologetic. That moment changes everything. Because instead of trying to impress her, you let her see your realness. And realness creates trust faster than perfection ever could. See, honesty in unexpected moments does two things. First, it shows self-acceptance. You're not controlled by how she might perceive you. That's power. Second, it builds instant credibility. If you're willing to be honest when it's inconvenient, she'll subconsciously believe you're honest when it matters most. Women are emotional readers. They don't just listen to words, they feel congruence. And when your words and energy align, she relaxes. Because she no longer feels like she has to decode you. You become emotionally safe, even if your honesty surprises her. But here's what most men fear, that honesty will make them look weak. They couldn't be more wrong. Pretending is weakness. It's insecurity dressed as confidence. Real strength is when you can admit a truth without needing validation for it. Every man can fake confidence. Only the secure ones can admit fear. That sentence alone separates the ordinary from the unforgettable. Because when you can expose your truth calmly, it signals you're not afraid of rejection. You've already accepted yourself. She's just catching up. Unpredictable honesty doesn't mean confessing every insecurity or oversharing emotions. It means strategic vulnerability, saying just enough to show authenticity, then standing in silence. No justification, no backpedal. That stillness, that lack of need to be liked, is what magnetizes her. Think of it like this. Authenticity isn't about saying everything that's true. It's about saying the truth that matters when it matters most, and doing so with composure, not chaos. When a man dares to be honest in unexpected moments, when everyone else hides behind charm or bravado, he breaks the pattern. And in that break, attraction happens. Because real confidence isn't built on pretending to have no flaws. It's built on owning them without shame. So next time you feel tempted to act unbothered, don't. Be real instead. Look her in the eyes and say what's true. Calmly, clearly, without defense. Because the man who tells the truth, especially when it's inconvenient, is the man who doesn't need to be perfect to be powerful. And that's the kind of man she can't forget. Number 4, quiet confidence, the death of social proof. We live in a world obsessed with validation. Men brag about their success, their followers, their lifestyle, all to prove they're valuable. But here's the irony. The louder you try to show confidence, the less believable it becomes. Quiet confidence doesn't need proof. It's not performed. It's felt. And that's exactly why women notice it instantly. You've probably heard this phrase before. Women love men who have status. That's only half true. What women truly love is the energy of a man who doesn't chase status at all. Because it signals something far more attractive than popularity. Inner stability. When a man is centered, he's not competing. He's not measuring himself against anyone. He moves through a room like he owns nothing, yet somehow he owns the atmosphere. That's quiet power. Social proof, the need to be seen, to be admired, is a trap disguised as strength. It tells women, I need to be validated to feel enough. and that instantly translates to emotional insecurity. The more you chase approval, the more you radiate lack. But when you detach from that chase, your energy changes. You walk into a room and make eye contact, not to seek reaction, but to connect. You speak less, but every word lands heavier. You don't rush to fill silence, because silence is your ally. That composure creates curiosity. Women feel that difference. They can sense when a man's confidence comes from peace instead of performance. It's the reason why the man sitting quietly in the corner often draws more attention than the one talking the loudest. Imagine a social event. Everyone's laughing, posting, proving. And then there's you. Not withdrawn, not shy, just calm. You're not checking your phone. You're present. You observe. When someone speaks to you, you listen. Not to reply, but to understand. That stillness is magnetic. Because quiet confidence speaks louder than every flex you've ever posted online. It's not about having nothing to prove. It's about realizing you don't need to. This is what women subconsciously crave. A man who is internally validated. Who can be alone without being lonely. Who doesn't need the crowd to know his worth. And here's what happens when you embody that energy. The world adjusts to it. People lower their tone around you. Conversations slow down. Even she, the woman you once thought was out of reach, leans in a little more. Not because you demanded her attention, but because your silence made space for it. That's the paradox of quiet confidence. The less you try to be seen, the more visible you become. So stop trying to impress. Stop trying to signal your value through numbers, noise, or reputation. You don't need validation to be significant. You already are. When your confidence comes from internal grounding, you stop performing for others and start influencing them. And the men who understand that never compete for attention again. They simply walk through life as a quiet storm. Steady, powerful, unforgettable. Number 5. Scarcity of presence. Stop being overly available. Let's be honest. Most men lose attraction not because they lack charm, but because they give it away too easily. They mistake availability for connection, thinking the more they show up, the more she'll value them. But in reality, the opposite happens. Every time you rearrange your plans, reply instantly, or cancel your priorities just to please her, you silently communicate one message. My time isn't valuable. And once a woman senses that, her interest begins to fade. Not because she's cruel, but because scarcity creates value and abundance kills it. Human psychology is wired for contrast. We only chase what feels slightly out of reach. When something, or someone, is always available, the mind stops craving it. What once felt exciting becomes predictable. Here's the trap most men fall into. They confuse consistency with constant presence. Consistency means you're reliable. Constant presence means you have no boundaries. And there's nothing attractive about a man who has no boundaries. Imagine this. She texts you. You like her, so you reply within seconds, every time. At first, she appreciates it. Then slowly, her replies get shorter, slower. You sense the energy shift, but you can't understand why. It's because your presence became expected, and what's expected loses its emotional charge. Now flip it. You're focused on your purpose. You reply when you're free, not instantly, not with excuses, just naturally. You live a full life that doesn't orbit around her. Suddenly, her energy changes. She becomes more responsive, more curious, even slightly nervous. Why? Because mystery returned. Your time regained value. This isn't about playing games. It's about restoring balance. Women are drawn to men who are present but not predictable. A man whose attention must be earned, not demanded. Scarcity of presence isn't a tactic. It's a reflection of self-respect. It shows that your life has depth beyond romance. That you're not waiting by your phone because your world doesn't collapse when she doesn't reply. When you stop being overly available, you reclaim something bigger than attraction. You reclaim your frame. It's the same principle that governs everything of value. Diamonds, rare art, exclusive moments. They hold power because they're limited. Your attention should be no different. But here's where it gets dangerous. Many men overcorrect. They start withholding affection or acting cold to create mystery. That's not strength. That's fear in disguise. The goal isn't to detach emotionally. It's to engage selectively, to give your energy where it's reciprocated. Scarcity of presence doesn't mean ignoring her. It means valuing yourself enough to not overextend. It's the subtle difference between "I'm here for you" and "I'm always here no matter what." And the truth is, the more available you are, the less valuable you become in her eyes. Because attraction isn't built through constant access. It's built through contrast. The tension between your presence and your absence. When you're there, be fully there. When you're not, disappear completely. That rhythm creates emotional gravity. So next time you feel the urge to respond right away, pause. Let your life lead. Let your goals, your peace, your space speak for you. Because when a man has purpose, his time becomes sacred. And when his time is sacred, so does his presence. That's the quiet power women feel, but can never quite describe. The gravity of a man who values himself. Be that man. Not because it makes her chase you, but because it reminds you who you are. You've just learned 5 subtle shifts that change everything. Not by teaching you to chase harder, but by teaching you to stand taller, see what others miss, be safe, but never predictable, be honest when others fake, walk quietly, but with gravity. Be rare, not always reachable. These aren't tricks. They're recalibrations of your energy. They're the difference between trying to win her approval and earning her respect. Because the truth is, women don't fall for words. They fall for presence. They fall for the emotional stability, the grounded silence, the kind of man who doesn't need to prove who he is. When you start applying these shifts, women won't just see you differently. They'll feel you differently. Your energy will carry weight. Your presence will linger, even when you're gone. And the beauty of this transformation is simple. It doesn't require you to become someone else. It only requires you to return to who you actually are. Before the world taught you to perform, before fear taught you to chase. You don't have to force attraction. You have to embody it. Because real attraction isn't built by effort. It's built by alignment. The way you carry yourself, the calm in your tone, the space you leave between words. All of that speaks louder than any compliment ever could. So, from this moment on, stop trying to be chosen. Start being the one who chooses. If you're done chasing validation and ready to build quiet power, subscribe now. Because this isn't about impressing women. It's about mastering yourself. And when you master yourself, everything, respect, connection, attraction, starts orbiting around you naturally. Remember this. Presence doesn't beg to be noticed. Presence commands attention. Attraction isn't built by effort. It's built by presence.